Hey there everybody, and welcome back to Nerd Dog Reviews. I'm your host Joshua Ryan, and all I've got to say is congrats! Congratulations, you did it! You raised your voice enough, you complained enough, you hashtagged enough, and they released the Snyder Cut. At least they're going to in just a couple of days. I've had a chance to see it, and I'm here to talk to you about it. Going into this movie, my expectations, I tried to keep them just leveled out, right here. I didn't set my bar too high, I didn't set the bar too low. I went in middle ground and I just said, let's let this movie take me where it takes me, okay? The one thought that I had, the one expectation is it has to be better. It has to be better than that first version of the Justice League we got, that Justice League as they call it. And there, at least I was right. It is better than that first version, which, I mean, isn't saying much. That first movie is terrible. So what exactly does this movie do that's different? Well, look at the runtime. It's 4 hours. It is twice the length of that first version, which means you are going to get a lot of new material. There really is a lot of new stuff to this movie, and even the stuff that's the same isn't really the same because Zack Snyder puts his own twist on it, right? He makes it his own, tweaks it up a little bit, and makes it more visually stylistic, darker, of course. Going back to that 4-hour runtime, I'm a firm believer in a movie can be long. I don't have any complaints about a movie being too long. The one thing that I think is important is that the time is used wisely, right? If a movie requires 4 hours to tell its story and to tell it well, then make it be 4 hours. This movie did not require 4 hours to tell its story and to tell it well. This movie was over-bloated and over-long, in my opinion, and it would have been better. I think it would have been much better if it was cut into a series like they were originally going to do. If they cut this into 4 parts, it would have flowed so much better. 4-hour-long movie didn't work for this one. A couple things that stood out to me as being improved upon in here is, take The Flash, for example. I thought Ezra Miller was terrible. I thought he was horrible, the worst part of the first, Justice League that we saw. I thought that his version of the Flash was atrocious. Now, in this movie, in Zack Snyder's Justice League, I actually really enjoyed Ezra Miller as the Flash. I thought the Flash was kind of a high point, a highlight of this movie. Ray Fisher's cyborg character gets a much bigger role in this movie. He plays a much bigger part than he did where he was supposedly heavily edited out of the Justice League. And of course, this movie is R-rated, which doesn't make a movie better, right? All the petitions to make certain movies R-rated I think is silly, because you can make a good movie at PG-13. R-rated movie does not mean it's gonna be better. So what does this movie do with its R rating? We get a couple of F-words, and there's a little bit more blood. Like in previous movies, in PG-13 movies, when someone's getting stabbed or slashed, you don't really see the blood pour out. You see a couple splashes of blood in here, and you get a couple F-words. Now there is some humor in this movie, right? Everybody thinks that Zack Snyder's movies are going to be super deadpan, super serious, no laughs whatsoever. We do get a couple of laughs, a couple good laughs, and most of them are from Ezra Miller's The Flash, who works as the comedic relief of the movie. A big complaint of the Justice League, of that first Justice League movie, was CGI. It was bad, okay? Remember that mustache, or lack thereof mustache, Superman's cheesy, terrible looking mouth? Okay, that's gone. I'll give you that. Zack Snyder's Justice League got rid of that monstrosity, and it's a million times better for it. Steppenwolf in the Justice League looked ridiculous. He looks much better here. I still don't think he looks great. I don't think Steppenwolf is a very good villain here. I think he does come across as more menacing in this version, but still, to me, he's just wasn't a very good villain. I didn't find him to be very entertaining to watch. I didn't find him to be super scary or intimidating. I didn't find him interesting. I didn't care about Steppenwolf. Now, Darkseid, I thought Darkseid was a fantastic, villain for the little bit that we get of him. And I think Darkseid should have been the focus. I think Darkseid should have been the main villain here. I think that the movie would have been much better for it. Overall, the CGI is much better in this version of the movie, but it's still not great CGI. It still comes across like that janky video game cutscene CGI through a lot of this movie, and I think it was really detrimental to the way that the movie played out. For a movie that is 4 hours long. It really felt jumbled. It felt like a whole bunch of deleted scenes were just kind of pushed together. There were clashing tones. There was clashing pace. The pace was kind of all over the place. Again, this is why I said I think it would have been better as a series. If they would have made this 4 separate films, 4 separate, episodes, and released it that way, then the pacing wouldn't have been as big of an issue, because you would expect within an episode to have high points and low points. But when throughout the whole movie it was going high, low, fast, slow, it was just bad. I think maybe the biggest detriment to this movie was a lot of it came across as silly. And it did not feel like a Zack Snyder film because of the silliness to a lot of it. And the way all the different character arcs kind of played out and ran together was not smooth. And a lot of that is to the fact that this is taking place, of course, before the events of Aquaman and stuff like that. So this is right after Batman vs Superman, when a lot of these characters, most of these characters didn't have their own solo movies yet. So we have to get their introductions kind of in this movie. And it just felt like a whole bunch of different storylines that didn't flow into one movie being pushed into one movie. That's why it was so long and it didn't need to be. I know there's going to be a whole bunch of Zack Snyder fans out there absolutely furious that I'm saying bad things about this movie. This movie that they fought for and they've been waiting 4 years to lay their eyes on. They'll be saying that I'm a Zack Snyder hater and that you can't trust my opinion, and that's not true. I like Zack Snyder. I love Watchmen. I think 300 and Dawn of the Dead, they're great. Batman vs Superman, well, the Ultimate Edition, that's really good too. He's got that cartoon owl movie, right? I like Zack Snyder. This does not feel like a Zack Snyder film, and I would put it way at the bottom of his movies. Now, and I can't fault him entirely, because the production behind this was still, a mess. We all know what happened with WB's interference, being kicked off the movie and all that. So, I mean, given all that, I guess if you take that into account, you can say maybe the movie turned out okay, but that's no way to judge it. We have to judge it on its own merits. I mean, this movie got another $70 million. It got a lot of time to put it together, to do reshoots, and make it its own movie, and I just think it fails because it does not come across as a movie that was worth the 4 hours, that was worth the 4 years, let alone the 4 hours, the 4 years of building up to it. It just doesn't get there. In the end, it felt like a very expensive made-for-TV movie, which, I mean, I guess it technically is, because it's made for HBO Max, which is TV, but it felt like one of those straight-to-DVD, straight-to-video, turn on, ABC in the morning and watch the movie of the week type of movies. And that's not what the Justice League should be. There's a lot more that I would like to talk about, but this is a spoiler-free review. I'm not going to go into specifics until after you guys have had a chance to see it. So after you watch it, leave your comments, tell me what you thought. You can tell me how wrong I am, tell me if you agreed with me, and we can discuss it cordially like fans on the internet always do. I'm Josh Ryan. I'll see you guys next time.